All right, hi guys, welcome back. This is day 3. We are still using trigonometry to start solving for missing pieces of the triangle. So last lesson we did just writing the trig ratio where they gave us everything. Now we're going to use those trig ratios to find missing things. So to start off with, I'm going to use my SOHCAHTOA. T equals O over A. And I'm going to need those because if you notice, the difference between those problems and these problems is that there's nothing here telling you which trig function to use. So you have to decide on your own, and that's where the SOHCAHTOA is going to come in handy. So the procedure is pretty similar to what we did before. So last time we started by finding the angle and putting a theta in that corner. Now we're going to look at our picture and we're going to use the angle that they've given us. So the 90-degree angle is never ever going to be the angle that you guys are going to use to help solve for the missing side, okay? The right angle is what allows us to do trigonometry, but it's not the angle that we use. So that means that it leaves you between these angles and this angle right here, and one of them is labeled, one of them is not. So everything we do is going to be based on that 16-degree angle right there. So once I identify the angle that they want me to use, I'm going to label the sides of my triangle like I am used to doing. So I'm going to label my hypotenuse first, my opposite second, and my adjacent third. Again, guys, I'm so sorry about the way I sound. I'm in Texas right now, and my allergies are killing me. So bear with me as I sniffle through these notes. So once we have all of our sides labeled, we're going to do something I like to call the circle game. The circle game is when you circle a letter, H, O, or A, only if it has something written outside of the triangle with it. So here, I can circle A because there's a 16 written outside of the triangle with it, and I can circle O. And you might be thinking, like, what do you mean something next to the letter? Like, can I circle H because it's next to the 16? No, it has to be something written outside of the triangle, meaning that it's talking about a side length and not an angle. Angles are always going to be written on the inside of the triangle. Side lengths are always going to be written outside of the triangle. So once we have our O and A circled, we're going to use that to figure out which trig function to use, sine, cosine, or tangent, okay? Because we only have O and A, we have to find the trig function that uses O and A only. So I've got O, but I don't have H. I've got A, but I don't have H. So it looks like tangent is the only trig function I can use because it uses O and A, and those are the two letters I have circled. So I'm going to say tangent of, and I always have to put something here. You always have to have tangent, sine, or cosine of something. And we know that sine, cosine, and tangent are all functions that we need to plug something in. And we can only plug in angles. So let's say I have 30 degrees or I have 45 degrees. Or I can put theta if I don't know what the angle is, okay? The cool thing about this is because we're only allowed to plug in angles, it makes it really easy when we're looking at a problem to know which number goes with tangent because it's the only number that has a degree symbol next to it. So it has to be tangent of 16 degrees. Equals, opposite, over, adjacent. So now don't worry about the left side at all. I want to solve for x on the right side like I would if this was algebra 1. So if I have x divided by 16, I'm going to multiply both sides by 16 to cancel that out and leave x by itself. So I want this to say x equals something. That's when I'm done, right? In algebra or in geometry, whenever, we've been solving, once you have x equals 2 or x equals 10, that's how you know you're done. So all I need to do is find out what 16 times tangent of 16 is, and you can take to your calculator for that. So remember, if you do not have the app, calculate 84. It's an awesome free graphing calculator app. The Texas Instruments, I believe, are gonna do free 6-month subscriptions to the online graphing calculator if we need it. So I'll give you more information. Who knows, by the time you watch this video, that might already be out. But I'm gonna go to my app. Sorry, I can't rotate it, so we have to look at it sideways. Skip for now. So here's my calculator. You want to go to mode, which is up at the top left corner, and you want to arrow down and make sure you are in degrees. So where it says radian, you want to arrow over and hit enter, and then go back. And so I'm going to type 16 times tangent of 16. If you look 2 rows above where it says 7, 8, 9, you'll see sine, cosine, and tangent. So I'm going to grab tangent, and I'm going to plug in 16 and hit enter. And that's it. That's the whole problem. We'll round that up to 4.6 for our notes. Oops, sorry, not Google. And we'll say that x equals 4.6. And that's it. So we're going to go on to the next one. So the next one, again, I'm going to identify my angle first, okay? So in the last step, that was identifying which angle was theta. Here, it's just identifying which angle is written, okay? We're never going to use the 90-degree angle, and we're never going to use the unmarked angle. So from there, I label my hypotenuse across from the 90-degree angle. I find which side is opposite. Again, use the pencil trick. Put the tip of your pencil in the angle and let the eraser point to you where the opposite side is going to be. Sorry, that just made a big mess. And then your adjacent side. So I'm going to play the circle game. I can circle A and I can circle O. So this is exactly like our previous example. We only have A and we only have O. So if we went through, we'd have the same checklist where we can only use tangent because we don't know anything about H. There was nothing written outside the triangle. So I'm going to say tangent of 44 equals opposite over adjacent. So now it's different because x is in the denominator. Okay, so if I follow the same steps that I did last time, I divided by 16, or I multiplied by 16 on both sides to make that divided by 16 go away. So if I come over here, I have the same problem. Tangent of 44 equals 19 over x. I want to multiply both sides by x to make that go away. So I'm left with just 19 equals x times tangent of 44. So if I want to get x by itself, I'm going to think of tangent of 44 as one number, okay? So if this is x times one number, the only way to get rid of it is to divide by that number. And tangent of 44 is a number. You can type it in your calculator. It's going to be a decimal. So that's why we can do things like this, multiply by the whole thing, divide by the whole thing, because that has the same properties. So x equals 19 over tangent of 44. So I'm going to run over to my calculator. You can do 19 divided by tangent of 44. You can also do alpha y equals and do it as a fraction. 19 divided by tangent of 44, whatever you desire. And then 19.7 if we're rounding. So x equals 19.7. And again, that's it. So hopefully these notes are going to be short and sweet. I'll do another example for you. And then, you can play one question at a time, hopefully trying it on your own first. Or you can just pause and do all the problems yourself. And then check with me at the end to make sure you have all the questions answered correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and do number 15 for you guys. So I circle my angle. I label my sides. I circle anything that has something written outside of the triangle. And now I'm going to go back up here. This is a little bit different. We're going to play this game up here again. Hopefully without erasing anything important. Which trig function uses A and H only? So again, I say, oh, I don't know anything about O, so it can't be that one. I've got A and H. So it looks like I'm good. I don't even need to go on to tangent. I'm going to need to do cosine of the only number in the problem that's allowed to go next to cosine is the 35 equals adjacent over hypotenuse. So you may be looking at this and being like, oh, I don't like this. This is confusing. The good news is that I can show you a little trick that helps and makes it really easy when x is in the denominator. You can take these two things and switch them. So I can put x all by itself on the left side and make it 13 over cosine of 35. And we know that at that point we can just type it into the calculator. And so the proof is right here. You saw multiplying both sides by x. You saw dividing both, ooh, that was too big. You saw dividing both sides by tangent of 44, but at the end of the day, you ended up with x over here and tangent of 44 over here, when you started with tangent of 44 over here and x over here. So it works every time that x is in the denominator. So I head over here and I say 13 divided by cosine of, I forgot the angle, going back to check, 35, sorry guys, and hit enter, and we'll call that 15.9 for rounding's sake. X equals 15.9. So again, like I said, I'm just going to start, barreling through these problems. You can pause now and attempt them all. You can go one by one with me. But yeah, that's where we're going from here. So get your calculators out and follow me. I'm going to do this angle, which gives me my hypotenuse, my opposite, and my adjacent. Circle, circle. Cosine of 52 equals 12 over x. So I get to do my little switcheroo. X equals 12 over cosine of 52, which, run that through your calculator, you should get, I think I did something wrong. Oops, I'm not in degrees. You should get 19.5. And then keep going. I hope everyone is doing good out there. I miss you guys. I hope you're washing your hands. And, oh, my dog just came into the room, so I got distracted. Let's do, O and H means we have to use sine. So sine of 54 equals opposite over hypotenuse. We have a lot of examples where x is in the denominator. So we go here and here. Switch them. 12 over sine of 54. And you got to run that on your calculator really quick. I'm doing that as well. Sine of 54. So you should get x equals 14.8. Over here, I'm going to start doing these a little bit faster. Hopefully you're working them out on your own. And if you don't understand how I did one of them or why I did one of them, you are going to text me on Remind, or you're going to email me and let me know. And we're going to answer those questions together. So cosine of 63 equals adjacent over hypotenuse. So this goes back to that original one. This is the easier one. This is x divided by 14. The only thing you need to do to undo divided by 14 is to multiply. So you'll do 14 times cosine of 63 in your calculator, and that's your answer. We'll say 6.4. So the cool thing to remember is that when you set up your equation, if x is in the numerator, let's do 10, then you're going to multiply when you find your answer. If you set up your equation and x is in the denominator, then you're going to do the switch and you're going to divide to find that answer. So again, we're still going. We've got hypotenuse, opposite, adjacent, circle, circle. We got a tangent problem again. If you're struggling with identifying which trig function to use, okay, remember that goes back to SOHCAHTOA. If you circle the right letters, you should only be able to choose one trig function. If you still struggle with that, make sure you're emailing me, sending me a question. I'd be happy to help you with that a little bit further. We've got opposite over adjacent, which means we got to switch. We do 16 over tangent of 67. Again, hopefully you guys remember this from last year and you're enjoying this and not stressing out about it because it's familiar. X equals 6.8. Let's do hypotenuse, opposite, adjacent. O and H means I have to use sine. Opposite over hypotenuse, easy one. Just going to multiply both sides. 15 times sine of 58 15 times sine of 58. X equals 12.7. Again, keep running through it. Bam, bam. This is opposite, adjacent. Here we go, here we go. Sine of 64 equals 19 over x. Switch them around. Put the whole thing, sine of 64, in the denominator. Remember, it does not work if you only do half of it. You have to put all of sine 64 in the denominator, not just 64. Otherwise, that will not accurately give you your x value. So, last one. We've got H, we've got O, we've got A, we've got O and A. So we're going to use tangent of 41 equals opposite over adjacent. Switch them around. We had a ton of these this time. Tangent of 41. Run that through on your calculator really quickly. Tangent of 41. And we finish with x equals 20.7. So if you fast forwarded to the end, I hope you're checking all your answers. If there is a question that you are looking at right now that you didn't get, make sure to, drag the video back to that problem and see what I did. And if you have any more questions, you'll let me know. And yeah, this is goofy and weird. And I know that these videos, maybe you like them more than being in class, maybe you don't. But either way, know that I love you just as much in these videos as I do when I'm standing right in front of you guys. So be good. Take care. Let me know if you need anything. Love you. Bye.